It started, huh? We're already seeing people in the media saying that Arias is better than Lucas Paquetá too. We're going to discuss this here, and I'm going to give my honest opinion about it. We also have important information about a Flamengo player leaving. The club has made a decision about the player's departure, and there are some clubs interested. We're also talking here about the possibility of Marcos Antônio still being signed by Flamengo, even though a Flamengo executive says that at this moment, no. The issue of Marcos Leonardo is also important. We need to bring up the situation of Marcos Leonardo, according to Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. Bruno Andrade on Al Hilal's decision regarding the departure of Marcos Leonardo. We're bringing a lot of information here, right? The schedule, the probable lineup, the matter of Everton Araújo, who is of interest to the Premier League team, you can follow all of that now. And I'll also give my own take. The team I would choose, I'll bring the probable lineup and the lineup I would choose, right? You know, I like to give my opinion. I think the probable lineup that was released by General Electric and Company, for me, it's not the best we have, so honestly, I would go with another one, but here we are, let's go. Hey guys, red and black greetings, this is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, please follow, like, and share on all platforms. On YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a like. We're here as always. Brought to you by Aroldo's Caravan, you can secure your spot at Flamengo games with the best travel service from Aroldo's Caravan. Get in touch with them, you won't regret it. In fact, the reception in Rio de Janeiro is famous, and the most requested is the reception with ticket included, top section with Aroldo's Caravan. Man, it's spectacular. I only hear praise from people who are hiring their services, and look, there's still time. Hurry up, let's fill the stadium. We're getting close to 50,000 tickets sold. Let's try to reach 55, 60 with 60,000 people present. Lucas Paquetá's return would be spectacular. The north section is already sold out, so let's fill the rest. It's really important. You, Flamengo fan, especially knowing that with the club membership, you can buy 2 more tickets for your list of favorites. You can buy 2 more tickets at the same club member price with the same discount. So go ahead, man. Let's support Flamengo today. Today's win over International is crucial for us to kick off the Brazilian Championship as the home team. Here's Flamengo's likely lineup for the game coming up soon. At 7 post Meridian and for abroad, with broadcast by Flamengo Television, narrated by João Guilherme and everything else, there's also Spanish commentary, and in Brazil, it's broadcast on Premiere. Okay, so what now? We have Luis Araújo here. And it's important to mention that Luis Araújo didn't go to the game. He's out of the game, according to Vene Casagrande. That's a significant absence, right? He was ruled out after reporting muscle discomfort and ended up being left off the squad list. As a technical decision, they rested the player to prevent worsening the injury and focus on upcoming games. I like Luis. Is he handling this now? It's not just about this game now, but we're all rooting for him to come back soon and get well quickly. Saul and Jorginho are also absent for Flamengo tonight against International. Jorginho is suspended after receiving a red card for complaining, in this case given by Wilton Pereira Sampaio. In the debut against São Paulo, the midfielder is not available. Saul remains out. The Spanish midfielder is still recovering. It will take a little longer after surgery on his left heel. Okay then? Alan and Alashin are expected to leave the club in the coming weeks, and they also shouldn't be included for the match. International, on the other hand, will only have the absence of Alan Rodriguez, who is involved in the case. Man, he's adapting, right? Recovering after an injury, you know? So, we're bringing here the information about Flamengo's probable lineup, and I'm going to tell you the team I'd like to see on the field, all right? Flamengo's likely lineup: Rossi, Royal, Vitão, Léo Pereira, and Ayrton Lucas, Pulgar, Everton, Araújo, Carrascal, Cebolinha, Plata, and Pedro. This is the lineup I'd like to see on the field, okay? I'll be honest, I wouldn't put Plata in and I wouldn't put Royal in. I'd accept Ayrton Lucas because Alexandre also can't handle playing every game. He's already at a more advanced stage, right? I would go with Rossi, Varela, Vitão, Léo Pereira, and Ayrton Lucas. Pulgar, Everton, Araújo. Arrascaeta, Cebolinha, Carrascal. No, we could even use Carrascal since Arrascaeta needs rest too, right? So let's put him in. Let's go. Let's try again. Rossi, Royal, Vitão, Rossi, Varela. Let's do it again. Rossi, Varela, Vitão, Léo Pereira, Ayrton Lucas, Pulgar, Everton, Araújo, Carrascal, Paquetá on the right, Cebolinha on the left, and Pedro in the attack. And if Arrascaeta was fit and it was better to put Paquetá in during the second half, I would go with Carrascal instead of Plata. Cebolinha right, Pedro attack, Arrascaeta middle, and Cebolinha left. Those would be my options, okay? I wouldn't go with Emerson Royal at Maracanã, especially after a loss. The fans are upset. At his first mistake, the fans are going to get on his case. We already know how it is. Yeah, the fans are going to get on his case. Maybe you could even go with De La Cruz in the midfield there, also instead of Everton. Araújo, I don't know. Ayrton Lucas, I agree. Now, in defense, Leo Ortiz needs to get some rhythm, but I would go with Vitão and the midfield. There's this doubt if Arrascaeta is able to start the match. If he is, great, Carrascal on the right. If not, Carrascal in Arrasca's place. And if you put Paquetá up front there on the right, that also works really well. You have a lot of options. Today, the whole issue is physical planning, the physical condition of these players, right? So I've already given my opinion here on how Flamengo should take the field, right? Look, let me just bring some important news here about Everton Araújo, who we were talking about. In fact, he even has a chance to start. According to Leo Jose, reporter from Coluna do Flamengo, he reported on Everton Araújo and began monitoring the young Nino player closely. The English club values the midfielder at about 12 million euros, while Flamengo demands much more, because they believe he is a young player with great potential for the European market. Internally, the Flamengo board and coach Felipe Luis consider Everton a key player for the season, especially given the busy schedule. I also think he's an excellent player. Currently, Volta Redonda holds 30% of the player's economic rights, while Flamengo owns the other 70% as reported by journalist Angelo Furtado. Okay, we also have some other information here. Look, after the sale of Iago to Orlando City, Volta Redonda is now turning its attention to a possible future negotiation involving Everton Araújo. Okay, but why? Volta Redonda also has a stake, so offers should come in. There was this issue with West Ham, and we're bringing you the news that the player Everton Araújo is valued by Felipe Luis and the football department. I forgot to tell you today's schedule. We have Flamengo now at 3 post Meridium, The players had a hearty snack at the time we're recording this. Departure for the stadium is at 5:10 post Meridium. Expected arrival at Maracanã is 7 post Meridium. Flamengo and Internacional at Maracanã. Mengo's debut as the home team in the Brazilian Championship. Okay, Flamengo has the best recent record against International with 4 wins in the last 5 games. So just to give you an idea, look at the last 5 matches. International 0, Flamengo 2, International 1, Flamengo 3, Flamengo 1, International 0, Flamengo 1, International 1, Flamengo 3, International 2. Okay. That's 5 games, 4 wins, 1 draw, no losses, total dominance by Flamengo over International. But the past doesn't matter. It's from now on, right? Look, we also have the youngster recovering, right? According to Rodrigo Lima from the column, Johnny is working on his recovery after undergoing surgery on his left shoulder, the one who had the shoulder problem, right? At the beginning of the Carioca, the young left back is only doing physical therapy activities and still has no expected return to the field. Johnny was injured during the match against Bangu in the Carioca Championship's first round at Moça Bonita. It's right to bring up the situation about the player's departure since Flamengo made the decision about Alan leaving, right? The player hasn't even been included in the squad. Because of this possible departure, Corinthians gave up on signing midfielder Alan on loan, information we confirmed with a source close to the club's management. The talks did not move forward. The management believes it's not worth it to loan out and strengthen a national rival, especially since he's a player who cost the club a lot of money. Corinthians' Molandro's idea was to get a free loan for Alan. There was also the possibility of a loan with payment only in 2027, but the idea was vetoed by President Osmar Stabiri, who doesn't want commitments for the next administration. In addition, Allen would have welcomed the possibility of playing for Corinthians and making a comeback, but under the current conditions, the transfer is unlikely to happen. Allen even wanted to go to Corinthians, but without paying anything. My friend, pay up, put some money in the deal, otherwise it won't work, right? No money, no deal, right? São Paulo is also interested in Allen. In fact, we have some important information here to share about Marcos Paulo, which could be involved in this negotiation with Flamengo, the loan deal for Allen, the purchase option, and everything else. Even though a source connected to Flamengo's management says that Flamengo would not sign Marcos Antônio. Now, in this transfer window, which is a situation to be evaluated for the future, Entertainment and Sports Programming Network through SportsCenter reported that Flamengo is insisting a lot on signing Marcos Antônio. They also report that Flamengo intends to increase the offer for the midfielder. Even after hearing from São Paulo that the player is not for sale behind the scenes, São Paulo is considering the possibility of offering the player a new contract earlier. See how BAP's trap works, a salary bump and new release clause. Look, the current release clause is 600 million for the domestic market and 100 million euros for abroad. According to Thiago Asmar, São Paulo turned down a 7.5 million euro offer from Flamengo. Plus the midfielder Allen, 7.5 million euros plus the midfielder Allen for Marcos Antônio. The information they gave us is that it wouldn't be a swap, it would be a combined deal where there would be the loan of Allen separately with a purchase option. As I understand, it's 7.5 million for Marcos Antônio and Flamengo agreeing to loan Allen. It's not a direct swap, but that's how I took Asmar's info. The tricolor said they'd only take 30 million euros for the player. Seriously, Chamichimi, you must be joking, right? 30 million euros for Marcos Antônio? They act like he's Paquetá. They think every Flamengo player will sell for 30 or 40 million euros. They must be joking. 30 million euros to buy Caio Jorge? What are you saying, Marcos Antônio? That's over 180 million raise. Are you serious? Almost 200 million reais. Are you crazy? São Paulo is out of their mind, man. Just keep the player then. Seriously, are you crazy? Paying 30 million is what Boto said, right? Now, because of a billion, everyone wants to pay or charge. Flamengo's expenses are a joke. Just look at them. Entertainment and Sports Programming Network also brought, according to Bruno Andrade, the information about Marcos Antônio. There's a player from Al Hilal that Flamengo fans are asking to sign, and the board isn't ruling out the possibility of signing him, right? The board isn't ruling out signing Marcos Antônio, but not this transfer window, maybe in the future. Flamengo's board is evaluating names with profiles that Felipe is more interested in, but Marcos Antônio hasn't officially been taken off the list. He's still a player. Marcos Antônio, oui. Look at that Marcos, Leonardo, Marcos, Leonardo, Marcos. It even gets confusing for us. Marcos Leonardo, that's the striker from Al Hilal, right? So Marcos Leonardo hasn't been taken off the list. But Flamengo prefers players with a different profile, so they're not ruling it out, okay? If they sign someone, a board source says it will be mid-year. Flamengo could afford a deal at that time. But there's a market opportunity to come on loan, right? But it's not quite like that. You know, a lot of people are saying that, but the information about a loan right now isn't confirmed. Bruno Andrade says Marcos Leonardo plans to stay at Al Hilal until at least June, right? The idea is to buy some time and then carefully consider a new project, which is to finish the season there, right? And in June, carefully look at a new project. Whether it's staying in Saudi Arabia, looking for European football, or considering a big investment coming from Brazil, okay? The loan deal with Atletico de Madrid, which nearly happened with a buy option, is now unlikely to go through. It's unlikely that this will happen with the Brazilian market. From what we've been following, very unlikely. Marcos Antônio again, damn, man, what's up with that? Marcos Leonardo, Marcos Antônio, I already said it, man, but there are so many Marcos, that's crazy. So, it's unlikely he'll be loaned out. It's impossible, right? But hardly. According to Bruno Andrade from Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, the player wants to stay at Al Hilal until the middle of the year. Well, let's bring in this comment from Walter Casagrande now, commentator for All Sports. He said the following. I think Arias is more dynamic than Paquetá. Man, Paquetá for me plays 5 positions. He's a real joker. Okay, who gets the ball and the game slows down. He's ahead. I prefer the Colombian, who increases the pace. He also says the following: Gerson is very similar to that. I'm a fan of his. I prefer him. Regarding Paquetá, I also like Arias and Gerson. Walter Casagrande says he prefers Arias and Gerson over Lucas Paquetá. It's Andre Marquez, right? He's the actor, the host, right? He has a channel, talks about cooking, and our friend Andre Marquez commented, "The thing is, if Casa said it, it's settled, but actually it's the opposite." I put it here, look. Paquetá for me is better, but it's different. Okay, Vitor Batista, next time you post something from Casa do Casagrande, I'll stop following you. Yeah. Yeah. The fan answering here. Wow. Paparazzo depends a lot on you. Don't do that. Don't unfollow the guy. He'll go hungry if you stop following him. What's that? Oh, Vitor. Yeah, it wasn't Kawan who replied. It was Vitor who said he'd unfollow next time. I'm not going to unfollow because of an opinion I have. I'm going to post something. I think it's worth the debate. Casagrande gave his opinion. We're going to debate it here. I think it's crazy to compare. For me, Paquetá is much better than Gerson, and he's different from Arias. Yeah, now, Arias costs 25 million euros and Paquetá is 42 million, which is really high. Yeah, I think Paquetá is better than Arias. They're different, but that's a huge difference in money. But there's a factor. What is it? The guy came back home. Yeah, he's homegrown. There's a whole psychological factor. The player wanting to come back is also for Flamengo. Paquetá's return has a different meaning. So, man, that's it. I don't even think we can comment on that right now, man. Every follower, it's really important to me. Kawan. People are saying it's Paquetá, it's good. It's a position that doesn't need speed winger. What does it need? Paquetá? On the wing, it's the same. Gerson slows down the plays. He doesn't have the finesse that Arias has on the wing. The players Flamengo has who make a difference on the wings are just Cebolinha and Luis Araújo. So, there are fans who think that's right. Andre March, like I said if Casa said it, it's settled, but it's actually the opposite. Ha ha ha. Master of Ceremonies Coringa sent this in. He always prefers anything not from Flamengo. He's a true Mango fan. Gerson speeds up the game. I stopped here. Yeah, it's Dr. Leonardo Braga. Who is he? Does he know the vibe of Mengao? Who knows about his life? It's Romario. Bandinho Souza said he only talks nonsense. Calado, he's a poet. THG's Buquerque. How Paquetá is bothering the critics, that's the truth. They're all attacking Lucas. Paquetá. If Paquetá were on any other team, Cirlandio Almeida. If Paquetá played for another team, he'd be the best player in Brazil. I'm sure he and others would say that. Even Casagrande would say that. Cirlandio saying, God protect this guy. There's a lot of envy and bad intentions towards him. Arlindo Silva, man, I agree. May God protect him, I'll tell you. He faces much envy and ill will. Roque Flamengo said that the commentators are better than Brazilian soccer. 083 Talisson 12. This Paquetá signing is bothering everyone. I've never seen anything like this before. It's impressive, man. It's the amount Flamengo paid. It bothers them to see Flamengo the way it is, so they just can't hold back. Now, they're going to say that any signing from another club is better than Lucas Paquetá's. That's it. Please follow, like, and share on all platforms. On YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Thanks for your company. Brunega greetings. This is Flamengo. Big hug. Thanks. I'm out.